The sun has finally risen, lighting up the area, and those dark shapes are now easily identifiable deer. Wade hopes to see the buck he's been waiting for.
This deer all year long. You staying with him, Jeff? Good. You're good. With him. Smoked him. I mean, smoked it. That is a giant. I saw that deer last year when I was in here, and he walked out of my life up that hill, and he got down right here this morning, and we could see him, and there's several deer feeding on the side of this hill by this pond. I mean, that's a giant right there. And the same thing last year, he got down around that pond, something spooked him, they all took off, run off. But this time he came back this way instead of going out, and I had to take him kind of walking out across there. I mean, he got in that little valley right there walking the whole time, and I knew this gun here. I mean, we've hauled it to New Zealand, we've hauled them around Texas, we've hauled them to many places, and I mean, they just shoot great. 30-06 was the caliber today, and we're fixing to go put our hands on an old giant right there. Woo! Give me some, Rusty. Oh, man. As I kind of look back on the hunt right now, I bet I shot that deer probably within 20 yards of where I shot the deer the year before. The deer I shot the year before was just up and slightly to the left of where that one was taken at. So that pond, that little area, you talk about special memories and good times and a history. I don't think it gets much better than that. This pond's been good to me. Full of fish, fun to sit there and watch them. Get them swimming away from the bank right now. Now I'm wanting to speed up. I can see antlers from here. We all know he's down. Look at that. That's a thing of art right there. That is beautiful. Right there. Look at this. Oh, he's even got a little kicker. Golly. I mean, that'll leave you speechless. I mean, look at those brow tines. I mean, that may be the longest brow tines of any deer I've ever shot, right there. I mean, that brow tine is huge. I mean, look at those 2s and the 3s, the way they curve in. He's got mass all the way around. Kind of crab claws in on that side. When you shoot deer like this, you end up being a little speechless at the end. You just kind of look at them and go, wow. I mean, those bases, I mean, I can't even get my fingers all the way around them. Holds it out to there. We got in here this morning to set up, and you could see several deer out there just kind of milling around, and you know, really well before we obviously could even legally shoot. You could see their shapes, and there was another really nice 10 and several other deer. You could hear them snort wheezing. There was fighting going on, and when they do that, you know, they'll get to running around and spooking out of the area and changing position. And I just literally spent time looking at the ground. Then I'd look up through my binoculars waiting for it to get daylight, and they got to running, chasing and fighting, and next thing you know, they all kind of cleared out. There's probably a dozen deer in there. And then he came back down the side of that hill and just kind of kept walking and was working towards this little oak mott. And I knew this little ditch was right here from last year, and when he stepped up, I mean, he just gave me everything you could ever want. Perfectly broadside, just right across the pond, squeeze the trigger. I'm shooting the TC Compass with a 30-06, a Cabela's HD Instinct scope on there. I mean, everything's lit up perfect, and the end result was dead right there of a giant buck.
Well, after an exciting morning, Wade has come out victorious after dreaming about this massive buck for the last year. And that certainly is one beautiful 10-point Texas whitetail. The serenity of hunting across a pond reflects how rewarding it can be to get back to the basics. Well, as we wrap up and make our way back to home base, Wade has a few more thoughts on what he enjoys most about hunting the legendary whitetail deer.
Whitetail deer are so cool because they have such different characteristics. Every one of them's different. Every year they're different. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. Sometimes they get some funky points, sometimes they, they're just as traditional as can be. That's why I think, whitetail are, North America's the most sought after game animal. I would argue that point for days, just because you can hunt them in so many different ways, means, methods, and manners, and states, and locations, and they're all so cool. They've all got a unique character. They've all got a unique attitude to them. This particular buck is I love these kind of deer where their tines are chocolate and they curve in. I mean, what a buck. Just what a buck. Not only to fill the freezer, but to hang on the wall.